Here with us now is Bradley Bowman. He is the Senior Director of the Center on Military and Political Power at the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies. And he has served as a National Security Advisor in the U.S. Senate to members of both the Senate Armed Services and Foreign Relations Committees. And Bradley, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it. So just to start off, what went wrong? Why are the nuclear negotiations at a standstill right now?
I think you have to bring this back in the end to Kim Jong-un and his regime. This is part of a long-term strategy that he has pursued to attain nuclear weapons and the means to deliver them. And the Trump administration deserves credit for implementing a long-term strategy to try to bring them to the negotiating table. We've had the presidential level summits, but in the end, we have not exerted sufficient pressure on him to determine the cost-benefit analysis incentivizes him to take tangible steps to denuclearize the Korean Peninsula.
This new outreach reported by Axios, how significant is this, Bradley? And do you see the two countries actually coming back to the negotiation table?
I think it's important for the U.S. to continue to signal that we're ready for negotiations, but I think the manner of those negotiations matter. I would not recommend any more presidential summits at this point. I believe that one of the main reasons the summits have not succeeded up to this point is because they're insufficient level at the working level. In other words, there were not common definitions about what denuclearizing the Korean Peninsula looked like, metrics, milestones, these sorts of things. And so if you jump straight to a presidential summit without having done the working level negotiations and details and definitions along the way, you're kind of setting yourself up for failure, I'm afraid.
John Bolton, the president's former national security advisor, said the Trump administration's approach toward North Korea and their policy is failing. What do you think?
You know, it either hasn't succeeded yet or it's failing. Our think tank recently put out a comprehensive study in December calling for Max Pressure 2.0. And that is a multifaceted campaign with diplomatic, military, economic, and information warfare components to try to bring North Korea back to the negotiating table. I think the bottom line is that we need to help inform the North Korean people that they deserve better. And until Kim Jong-un begins to fear his own people, I think he's unlikely to make the concessions he needs to make with respect to his nuclear program and his intercontinental ballistic missile program.
We're well past Christmas at this point, and no sign yet of that Christmas gift that Kim has promised. Is that a good sign?
I think it's a good sign that they haven't conducted a nuclear test or another nuclear test or an ICBM test. But if you look at the rhetoric in the last few days, it's looking like that may come soon. And so I don't think the status quo is in our favor. I think at some point we're going to need to go to this Max Pressure 2.0 campaign that our think tank has suggested is necessary, not for the purpose of starting a war, but for the purpose of ending it. Really, this robust Max Pressure 2.0 campaign is the best hope we have of denuclearizing the North Korean Peninsula without war, in my view.
All right, Bradley Bowman with the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Thank you.
Thank you so much.